Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuning In with Thom Jennings, my YouTube video channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all those things that you're supposed to say when you have a video channel. But more importantly, you're not here for me. You're here to learn more about our guest today. And I can say this, my dear friend, Mr. Bruce Wojick. That's the one thing I don't struggle with is our friendship. I'm very honored to call you friend. And we're here today to discuss your newest album, which is pretty cool. I mean, this is a project that you really put your heart and soul into. So I'm going to turn it over to you and just kind of give us a quick intro for people who may not know you, a little bit about you, and then we'll talk about the record.
Well, back at you, my dear friend. Back at you, my dear friend, because honestly, we've known each other now for quite a few years.
Over a decade,
And
yes.
that's right. And not only all this rock and roll stuff, but like, you know what? I love being able to just chat at you when we talk about stuff, talk about
Yeah.
the local football franchise, or maybe our pets, right? Our
Yep.
dogs, things of that nature. So love you, bro. My dear friend. So no, I'm good. I'm good. You look great. If I was there, I'd give you an ear tug if I
Yeah,
was there.
that's why I have the coverings, just for fear
Oh
that you would
no,
reach through and
no coverings, no coverings. That's gives you good luck. It's like there you go, there you
there you
go.
go.
I'll reach out like this. Um, no, Tom, I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything's good. I just came back from a trip on the weekend here with my Strictly Hip brothers. From Burlington, Vermont.
Hmm.
And the only thing that pains me about that trip is that every time we make this trip to Burlington to play, I never get to go to the Ben and Jerry's factory or whatever they call it, facility. And I don't even need samples. All I want to do is smell the joint.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
just
yeah,
want to
yeah.
smell the joint because I heard it smells fantastic. I mean, how could it not? Ice cream? You like ice cream, don't you?
I do, but my doctor says that I can't eat it, so I don't.
But you like it.
I do like it.
All right. Well, I'm not going to bring it up again because I can see that it's a bad. It's not doesn't promote
I
goodness.
feel like everybody in their life has had a certain amount of anything that they can have, and they reach that, and then they just can't have it again. And I've eaten enough ice cream in my lifetime that I can no longer eat it.
We're going to get to rock and roll, right? We'll get to
Yeah,
rock and
we
roll,
are. We're right there.
but you know what? I'm going to ask you what your favorite ice cream is. But before I ask you, I'm going to tell you what my favorite ice cream is, and then I'll ask you, and then we'll move forward.
Hmm.
Uh, my favorite ice cream is an oddball. It's an oddball ice cream for a favorite. I've never met anybody that has this favorite that is mine. And mine is, and I don't even drink it anymore. I switched to tea many years ago. I switched to black tea with a
Mm.
little honey and a little half and half in it. But my favorite ice cream is coffee ice cream. No, nothing with nothing in it. Smooth coffee, no chips, no nuts, no nothing like that. What's your favorite?
It's pistachio. It maybe it's the Irish because it's green.
Pistachio. My favorite color.
Yeah, yeah. My
Green.
granddaughter's is mint chocolate chip, which is green as well.
Green. Yeah, I love the
Which, by the
green.
way, the album "The Hard Way," which is what we're here to talk about. What
That's
color
right.
is the cover of the record?
Green.
It all comes
Green.
full circle, Bruce. We
It's
get
true.
there.
We're hoping the we're hoping the next pressing of the record, of the vinyl, it's going to be green vinyl as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're hoping that's going to be the case. I wanted that for this pressing, but Steve at the label said, Bruce, only Mick Jagger gets the green vinyl, at least in the month of October.
Oh,
So I
right.
said, I'm not quite sure how to respond to that, but I get it. So
And I'm a
uh,
vinyl collector, so I got a ton of vinyl here. I mean, I'm literally surrounded by it. If I turn my camera,
nice.
you'd see vinyl everywhere. But
Right.
there are people that, and I get it, that don't like the colored vinyl. Now I like it because I'm a collector, but they say that the issue is that, well, one, you can't see the scratches, which is bad. but also it has something to do with the way that it attracts dust. There's something about black that makes it less attractive to dust, which is weird because my black records are really dusty. There's an
Well,
audio file out there screaming at the video right now, going, "Tom doesn't know what he's talking about." But
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't know anything about, I mean, really, the
yeah,
scratches, you can't see, you're saying you can't
no,
see
you
everything?
absolutely cannot. I have this wonderful gold copy of Styx Pieces of Eight. Styx, one of my favorite bands. That's one of my favorite
We,
records.
we were just, when we were linking up, we were just singing Miss America.
America, yeah, yeah, which is on that. No, Miss America's on Grand Illusion, but
That, yeah, that's
Great
Grand
White
Illusion.
Hope's on Pieces of Eight. But yeah, no, it's
True.
just this gorgeous record, but it does not play properly. So a good
Well,
thick 180-gram black record, if you're an audiophile with a nice turntable, that's the way to go.
so yes, the new record is black vinyl. So
Right.
I know when you opened it and you took it out, you're like, hey, this is great, black vinyl, because I can see the dust and I can see the scratches.
Yeah.
And
And then when my dog
so
hair is on it, I know where it is and I can get it off of there.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Hey, seriously, thanks so much for having me
for
on.
sure.
I mean it, and talking about the new record, and because still very excited about the new record. It's something you work up for a few months with singles and videos and things, and working up to it, and then it drops, and then that's a music biz thing, right?
Right.
Drops. Hey, when's it dropping? I don't know. I just never understood that. But
Well, I was one of the lucky
anyway,
ones that got to hear it very early on. So,
this
uh,
is true. This is
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Remember I tortured you that one night? You were like, Bruce, I
I'm
um
not even I'm not even going to entertain that. It was not torture. This really is a
no,
fantastic record.
I remember you said to me, you said, Bruce, I've got to walk the three dogs and I
Oh,
only have two. I only have two dogs, but I got to walk three. So let's wrap it up. Um, no, thank you for having me on. So no, I'm excited about the record that came out October the 3rd. It's called The Hard Way, as you referenced already. And yeah, we're very excited about it. And I'm hoping everybody is enjoying it. I've gotten some good reviews so far. I got a good review from my mom. Um, the our dog Sadie gave me a good review. Uh, she, after listening the first time, she went like this. Ooh, that's what she said.
that's good. I know in dog language that means this is great.
Well, true, but the last means this. It's she said this is great, really kick ass. That was the last ooh thing she
Nice.
did, and then I gave her this biscuit, and she got away from me fast. So, um, yeah, no, excited about it, man. And again, thank you for having me on to talk about it.
Yeah.
Whoever's been listening or watching so far has already gone. If you don't start talking about it in the next 30 seconds, I'm tuning out. It's over.
Well, if they know either one of us, they're not shocked by that. I mean, it's the chemistry that's working for them right now. It's not so much the record, but yeah,
That's
we'll get
yes.
to the record. And I'm a fan, regardless of what our personal relationship is. And this particular record, I will say my first impression is that you just did a really good job, a great job, as a matter of fact, of capturing your live sound. And I think that different artists fall into different categories. I mean, we know we're of similar age, and there were certain bands that were very much studio bands, and it didn't necessarily translate into the live setting. But I think the bigger problem with an artist is always taking the live setting, which is where they make their bread and butter, which is where they build their fan base, and taking that and somehow being able to translate it on vinyl in this case, but just again in a recorded product. So I mean, just first question. I mean, granted, there's all kinds of resources out there for home recording, things like that. I mean, you didn't go the full home recording route here. It's obvious. What was your initial approach when you decided to make this album in terms of being able to capture the struggles live energy?
I mean, honestly, I guess we're just sort of lucky in terms of you know uh, the way we record and how we do it. I mean, we usually record live, at least the basic tracks, as a band, and then sort of build a little bit on that. Um, Sometimes a little more of A, sometimes a little more of B or less of B, but um, no, we're just lucky. I mean, we the show we did the album release show, I we recorded everything, and I just heard some stuff last week, and I was like, wow, I mean, again, I'm not tooting my own horn at all, but I was like, man, we played the whole record, first song to last, and it's like, man, you're right. I mean, you're right. It does, the record does translate what we do live. I'm the first song no, we didn't do any home recording really with it at all. We did it in a studio called the Music Lab. 7 out of 9 songs we did at a place called the Music Lab, which is in Niagara Falls. And the guy's named Johnny Helms, who's a great friend and a great engineer. He recorded all the 7 songs, engineered it, mixed them. I produced. It's that 7 out of 9 songs, and the first song that we recorded was "More Time," and that was only like on a whim. I wasn't even making a record at that point. I saw John in a store, and I said, "Hey man, I've got this song that I wrote with my son, and would you mind us coming in when you have time?" And so we went. That was the first thing we did. I mean, that was, man, like 5 years ago, crazy enough. And when I say that, like the time span, I don't want everybody to think that, like, oh my God, you're working on this like every week for 5 years. Like, hell no,
Right.
that's not what takes sometimes that long to make a record. I mean, again, you're just sort of chipping away at it, a little bit here, a little bit there. Everybody's got schedules, everybody's got stuff going on. But even listening to that song when we got it together, um, I was like, wow. I mean, it's just sounds like the band. We just don't put a lot of glitz and bullshit on there in terms of studio recording. We play it the way that we play it, and just try to make it as cool and great as possible. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so happy that it does sound good, the recorded versions in terms of how we play it live, because man, it's pretty close, man. Pretty close. Other than
So,
some, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, you mentioned more time. I mean, thematically, well, we should talk about that song because it's. I think one of the things that makes a great song in my mind, from somebody who reviews music and plays a little bit too, is a song that has that kind of universal principles. Like it's things that either people can interpret it in their own way and apply it to something that's going on in their life, or if it's just something we all kind of deal with. It's funny, when we like the concept of time. I think of Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, which was written by these guys in their 20s, and if you listen to it now, it sounds like it was guys in their 70s. Talk about how quickly life can go get behind you. I mean,
Yeah.
thematically, you're saying it's a song that evokes some emotions, with your son, but again, it really just talks about, man, there's just certain things that are great. I just wish I had more time for this, more time for that. Tell me about how that song came together lyrically and thematically, what it means to you.
Exactly right. I mean, that song was written, crazy enough, again, going back, and I hate to even say the word and reference it, but unfortunately it was a time in our lives, but during the COVID thing, um, um, I was, me and my son Vito, we came down, and we started playing, riffing a bit, and I came up with this thing, music, the verse parts to it basically. And anyway, so after that, I'm like, oh, we got something here. I'm gonna try to get some lyrics going here. And man, I woke up the next morning, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, man, I'm just running out of time. And all things, as we all are, running out of time. I mean, even if you're 20, you're running out of time, but you don't think about that when you're 20, right? You think about it when you're a little closer to us, especially if you're older than us, right, Tom? But
Yeah.
running out of time. I was like, even in my career, I was just like, man, I got so much to do. And then that just went on with, again, running out of time with the people you love, the time you spend with them. And we all could use to spend more time with these people that we love, right? Everybody's got their lives and their jobs and their duties and their stuff. And 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 the thought of, you can have, whatever you can have all the money in the world, that ain't going to buy you more time. It will never buy you more time, man. You can have $1 billion and stuff as well, right? Those material things, these things that we all, want, big houses and guitars and things. And I put in the song Les Pauls, like 20 more Les Pauls, right? Of course. So um but it ain't gonna buy you more time. And so that was the thing, man. I focused on more time. Name of the ended up being the name of the song, and some things you never get enough of, but all I really need is more time. And I think everybody can can relate to that. And so that's where it all came about.
Yeah, and again, thematically, I mean, you can apply that to, I wish I had more time to eat this ice cream. I mean, I'm coming to the end of the bowl, but again, it could be more time with your kids. It could be, like I said,
Yes,
more time to to even finish the record. I mean, time is
absolutely.
something that is a very precious thing. So it's kind of cool that was the starting point. So now
Yeah.
you have this song, More Time.
Yeah.
You've at least got somewhat of a genie in a bottle, I assume. You think, oh, I got this great song. So what came next? I mean, what was the next song? And you were saying, okay, we got some things that are working here.
Yeah. Well, at that point there, we recorded it and listen. I'm like, oh man, this is really cool. And again, I wasn't really thinking of making a record, but we had some songs um, that we had been playing live, and we had some stuff that went back a little bit that sort of got reworked and never got recorded, as far as I'm concerned, the right way. And do you hear that? Do you hear my phone going off? I
No,
hope you don't
which
hear.
phone is
Oh,
that? Is that
good.
your house phone?
No, no, no. This is the cellular
Oh, okay,
device,
great.
which
See, this is
uh
you did Bruce for people watching. For years he never had a cell phone, and then he just recently got one. It's changed everything.
it's the
Not all for
worst.
the better.
It is absolutely the worst. All of us should get rid of these things. It's the worst.
You know how
You
much
know
more
it
time
is.
you had when you didn't have a cell
Yeah,
phone.
it's the worst. And then things and we'll get back to that, but I'm just real fast.
Yeah,
Things get translated differently via
yeah,
text, right? I mean,
yeah.
like sometimes there'll be some I hate it. It's terrible. Anyway, after we recorded more time, I said, man, all right. So I said to Johnny, the engineer, owner of the studio, who we could not have done this record without, man. I mean, he took so much time, and I'll get back to that. But I said, man, I got a bunch of other songs. I said, would you be interested in, letting us, come in and, take time? And he was like, yeah, sure. So that was it. So at that point there, I started putting together all the other songs, the things that we wanted to do that we had. And we just started, I had the guys come in and we did a lot of basics on songs like, and that wasn't like the next day. Like I said, this
Right.
is a process, but we started doing the basics for songs like The Hard Way and Power Lines 25 and Louder Than Concord, just a lot of these other songs. So of the seven songs, nine songs total on the record, seven recorded with Johnny at the Music Lab, and then the other two we'll get into that were recorded in other places. Um, so yeah, we just started chipping away, and after we had some of these songs, not even mixed, I was like, all right, man, I think we have something here, have a record. So that's when I started going, all right, we're making a record. We didn't do that in the first with the first song, but after we had a couple, I started going, okay, we're making a record here. And then we really started again chipping away at a very slow pace. And that's how it all came about. Just realizing that we've got some stuff, and we're ready to put it together and make this record. So yeah.
And let's before we go any further, we should probably take the time to let me know who let everyone out there know, because I know who's on the record, who are the musicians, the core struggle group, and I know you have some guest appearances as well.
Yeah. Well, the struggle, uh, the guys I can't do it without, the band, man. I mean, always there for me, just the best. These guys, Tom.
Yeah.
Dan Delano on the keyboards, Denny Pelzinski on the drums, Leo McDonald on bass guitar, and Will Holton on saxophone. And that me and Denny and Leo were in a band called Clear in the early 2000s. And so I've been with these guys forever. Leo, been with forever, the bass player. He was in a band in the 90s with me called God's Children, which you know. So again, these guys are like family, and we've been through everything together. Will, like family as well, obviously met Will in the early 2000s when we were doing the Clear thing, and he joined us on some Clear stuff live, And you know, all the way back then, we've been again like family, and Will has put a couple songs that I've written on some of his solo records, and so just awesome that he's done that. When I think back about that, excuse me.
Yeah, no
Um,
worries.
yeah, so that's the band. Will on sax, Denny on the drums, Leo on bass, Danny on keyboards, and those are my guys. I mean, nothing gets done without those guys. That's the core. That's the foundation for it all. And then
Yeah,
the
before
other, the
before you introduce the guests, I do want to take some time to recognize your band. I don't know if I've told them, and if they do get a chance to watch this, I am just amazed at their musicianship, their stage presence. There is, you really have to have a certain amount of chemistry for things to work. Like, I assume that you again, like you said, you use the term family, but
yeah,
my God, man. I mean, there's just been some shows where there's never been a show where I haven't spent at least 5 minutes locked on one of them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you go see a live performance and you're always looking at the one guy, like, oh,
yeah,
like to me, like, even though Rush was a great band, we're all looking at the drummer, you don't really, sometimes you catch the other guys, but your band, man, every one of your guys has a moment to really shine, and they really take it. But none of them are selfish players. Like, nobody steps on anybody, nobody hogs it, and you just have a very team approach to live music, and it is so refreshing and so infectious. And if anybody who has not seen your band live, absolutely owes it to themselves, because my God, it's a gas, man. It's just a good freaking time.
well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, that means the world to me, and I know when the guys see this, it'll mean the world to them. That's absolutely the case. I mean, there's no, we're in it together.
Yeah.
We're there for the song. We're trying to do, absolutely, and everybody's got a different vibe too, right? As you know,
Yep.
in the band.
But
Danny,
zero ego, but all great
yeah,
guys too. I mean, they're the kind of
yeah,
guys you can catch them outside the venue. They're going to talk to you. They're not drawing
yeah.
attention to themselves, but just said great players, great
Thank you.
guys. It's like, to me, I've always kind of looked at you as like you still have a lot of garage band in you. It's like a dog that remains a puppy until they're, up until their later
Yeah.
years. You guys still have that garage band energy, but you have a tightness that just it's so professional and so fantastic. That's the only way I can
That's
put it.
awesome. That's awesome, man. No doubt. I mean, again, I've been a band. It's still weird that like I didn't even want the band to be called like, my name and the struggle. I mean, that's the truth. I've discussed this with you before. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been in a band. I'm a band guy, man. Been in bands, the 90s and like I say, the 2000s, and it's a band, and that's the best, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, all the artists that we know and love, these guys like, Bowie, and I'm just thinking of the single guys,
Right.
but man, the band thing is just, awesome. So, um, yeah, no, that means the world, man. Thanks so much. The guys are awesome, just awesome, and I appreciate them more than they ever know.
Oh, I'm sure they know. Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate them well. So as well. So hopefully they get this message. And again, it goes back to, going back to the record. It's just, man, you can hear it on the record as well. Because in those studio situations, and it doesn't surprise me that you told me you recorded a lot of this live, because a lot of these studio songs, there's just something about them that there's a little sterility to them. And you just don't get that from this record.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean it. It's awesome. And I've gotten, again, so far so good. There hasn't been my brother Josh. He said, what did he say to me just last week? And he co-wrote the one tune and played on the one song on the record, which brings us back to guests. But he was like, man, it's a really good record, man. But like the one song, I said, hey, slow down, Clark, slow down. Take it easy on me. I know I'm your brother. You know what I mean? Doing the best we can over here. We can't all be making Highway 61 revisited. Is it 61 or 66?
I think it's 61.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's travesty that I'm asking. Travesty. But no, the guys are amazing, and again, just all together for this long, right? It's
Yeah.
just so cool, So
Yeah.
yeah,
And then your guests.
The guests, okay. I didn't know if we were, yeah. So the other people on the record, wonderful, man. In no particular order. Um, really cool on the track. Yesterday is gone. So two songs that were not recorded in the music lab. Um, Yesterday is gone. It's sort of a little bit in the music lab and a little bit not. So that has Bobby Rondinelli on the drums, and he produced the song as well. And that Bobby was in an amazing band, one of my favorite bands from the 70s and early 80s called Rainbow with Richie Blackmore. And they had a bunch of different guys in the band. Ronnie James Dio was in the band at one point, different singers and stuff. But Bobby was in Rainbow for a number of years, couple records, and he was also in Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult. And so I got to hook up with Bobby through Jamie Hulka, who is my partner. We've been for 26 years. We've been doing this acoustic duo for 26 years. Oh my
Dang.
God. Anyway, so Jamie, of course, like a brother to me, he did a whole record with Bobby Rondinelli. And while he was in the middle of that, um, I had said, man, Bobby, maybe Bobby would, you know, maybe want to do a tune at some point with me, and Jamie was like, yeah, I mean, just, give him a call or what have you. And at one point I called Jamie and he was in the studio, when I called him. Bobby's right next to him. And he was like, yeah, talk to Bobby. And said, hey, Bobby, how are you, man? I got a song. Maybe he goes, yeah, send it to me. So I sent Bobby the song. He got back to me quickly, which was awesome, and said, man, this song is great. Yeah, let's do it. So Bobby ended up producing the song and playing the drums on it. And Mick James played the bass on that, who is Bobby's right hand guy. That's what you say when somebody's close to you, my right hand man. So he was an engineer in Bobby's studio. Um, and Mick ended up playing the bass on that. And so that came out just awesome. And that's a rework actually, because I had put that out a few years ago on a EP that not many people heard. And so we ended up again recording some new tracks, using some of the old tracks. But so Bobby Rondinelli on that, and Mick James on the bass, and then the other guys on that are struggle guys. You got Danny and or just Danny on the keys. Yes, that's it. So but thanks to Jamie, again, working with Bobby was so cool, man. I used to watch the Rainbow videos in the early 80s, Stone Cold and all that stuff on MTV, and the live show they would play from Houston. So I mean, man, just like how many years later I get to like do a song with this guy and have him produce it and shoot the shit with him. So awesome. So thank you, Jamie. Always thank you for that connection. And then the other song that wasn't recorded in the music lab with Johnny Helms was Watching the Sky Turn Blue, which we didn't even have done for the record. Little fact, we had some cover songs that we wanted to put on the record that we ended up ditching. And so we were short a song. And we ended up to have there's a song called Watching the Sky Turn Blue, which my brother Joshua co-wrote. And I ended up putting some melody and lyrics into that song and got it together with the band. And but crazy enough, recording the song, we had a very limited space to do it, and I couldn't get all the guys together fast enough to do it. So me and Steve Padden, who is the drummer for the Strictly Hip, um, he's got a little recording facility. And so I said, Steve, can you help me do this? And he said, yep. And he got the bed tracks from my brother, and my brother ended up doing a new bass line for it. And then Steve did the programming and the synth and stuff like that. A couple other keyboard things. So it was just me and Steve who basically got that song together, Watching the Sky Turn Blue. That was the last song that was recorded for the record. And so guests, my brother Josh on bass on that song. Steve Padden is on that song. And then the other guests are Erin Hoyle, who is Jeremy Hoyle's daughter, as you know. And, I'm in the Strictly Hip with Jeremy, my brother Jer. So Erin is on two songs. She is on The Hard Way, the title track, and she is on 1983, which is a song. Well, we can talk about what that's about later,
Yeah,
but she's
for
on
sure.
two songs. My son Vito is on two songs. As I mentioned, the first song that we wrote that ended up being on the record, More Time. He's on the drums on that. And then he is on Power Lines 25. which is, excuse me, another rework that was actually on my second record, but I always did not like the way that it came out. I wasn't a fan of the way it was mixed and just didn't like it. And I said to myself, one day I want to re-record that and try to really get it the right way. So we re-recorded that at the Music Lab with Johnny, and I had Vito come in play the drums on that. And I believe that is all the guests on the record: Aaron Hoyle, Vito, Bobby Rondinelli, Steve Padden. Uh, that was it. And Mick James on the bass on Yesterday Is Gone. So yeah,
Nice.
there's the guests. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Bobby Rondinelli, I saw him with Rainbow on the Straight Between the Eyes tour, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to know
You
that he
did
was
see that.
able to. Oh yeah, I saw that. It was
Awesome.
Rainbow with the Scorpions and a group called Riot, not Quiet Riot, but the band was named
Yeah.
Riot. They
Oh,
had a big song called Swords and Tequila,
yep.
which I thought should have been a
I'm,
much bigger hit. And later on, Mark Storis, who was he wasn't the lead singer when I saw him. He had actually left the band for a short period of time. He sounds a lot like AC/DC's Bon
yep.
Scott. But and
I'm
Aaron, I
familiar
oh
with
go ahead.
Riot. I'm just I'm familiar with Riot. I
Yeah.
mean, they've been around a long time. Yeah, and I can. So that was at the in Buffalo at the
No, I
Memorial
saw him in
Auditorium.
Rochester War Memorial. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
okay,
remember because they
yeah,
had these gigantic eyes that came out of
yeah,
the ceiling, and the
yeah.
spotlights came out of the eyes. So it was really
Very
it
cool.
was very, like, for the time, it's like, wow, it'll never get better than
Well,
this. And then
I still have my original vinyl of Straight Between the Eyes by Rainbow
oh, same, yeah,
because I mean at the time I remember the first time I heard the song. I think it was the video too. I mean back then a lot of songs first time you heard them were with the video, at least for me.
right,
I mean that was heavy MTV for me. And yeah, so I still have I mean I know that whole record back, front to back, man. I know every track on that, up, down, and sideways.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, crazy to have
And
Bobby on
he
the.
sounded a lot. He always Joe Lynn Turner always reminded. I got to meet him, short guy, very nice guy as well. But he, always reminded me a lot of Lou Gramm. I felt like he would have been a good
Oh,
Lou Gramm replacement just because of his vocal approach. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rainbow, and I did want to talk quickly about Erin as well,
yeah,
because she's one of those performers that I've really enjoyed seeing her perform with the struggle over the years, because I know her father's in music and everything, and I've got a son, who's a drummer and plays out a lot
yeah,
too, and just like you do. But to see them evolve, and I think it's so much harder as a singer because there's a lot of little nuances that you don't think about when you're on stage. She's always had the pipes, and she does a great vocal work. You used her very effectively on the record, but just how she's been able to be more comfortable with just things like her hands when she's performing. I
right,
mean, you don't
yeah,
have to
right.
necessarily think about that because you're a guitarist, right? And in some ways, I mean, I've seen guys perform like Paul Carrick, I'm a huge fan of. There were songs that he recorded on one live video where he had a guitar and he clearly wasn't playing it, but he had it so that he could stand there and sing the song and look cooler with the guitar. And I've seen a lot of performers do that. And I just think it's cool when, you see an artist slowly getting a little more comfortable in their body, because that's an art form.
Totally. I mean, stagecraft, I mean, it's totally. I mean, I've seen Erin come up now. I mean, again, she's got to be 22
Yeah.
now. And I mean, geez, I mean, just remember her as a little girl. I remember her singing and yeah, she's really coming into her own now. I mean, a matter of fact, on the
Oh, for
trip we
sure.
took up, really the trip we took on the way to Burlington, Vermont over the weekend, Jeremy was playing some songs, some new stuff from her. She's a great writer. She's a really great writer. And yeah, so matter of fact, she's done some things and is in the process of doing some other things with Steve Padden, the drummer, who I said was on Watching the
Right.
Sky Turn Blue, drummer for the Strictly Hip. Really good stuff. So yeah, she's really, and she was, I mean, again, at the show a couple weeks ago, the album release show, she was great, and I see it too. I mean, watching clips
Yeah.
of the songs with her on there, I'm like, wow, and she's, people, showbiz, right? I'm old school. I still call it showbiz at the end of the day, right? I mean, music biz, showbiz. But I mean, man, you go up there, man, you flip the switch and it's go time, right?
Yep.
It's go time. It's not the time to fricking, relax and put your hands in your pockets and fricking, you know, and like she yeah, she was just great, and she still is. But yeah, I'm expecting really big things from Erin in the future. Yeah,
No, for
she's
sure.
wonderful.
So let's talk about The Hard Way. You know, that's a song that you brought up that she's on, and
Yeah.
let's talk about how that song came together, the theme, and I mean that's the one that kicks off the record, right? And that's a decision. I mean, that really is a decision. You know, I mean, a record, the first song is either going to make or break a record.
Well, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. It's the first song on the second side of the record.
All
That's
right,
all right.
now I got to
Hey,
edit
look at
that out. No, I'm going to leave it in because I'm a knucklehead. Hold on, let me
no,
see
no,
here where
no.
I got to pull up my track list here.
That's all right.
Okay. Oh,
No
that's right.
worries.
Because more time is the
Right.
opener on the record. Okay.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
but tracking it,
So
but I mean, to
yeah.
me, the hard way, from a tracking standpoint, it does have it could strikes me as a song you could open a show with.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's just got that boogie woogie kind of thing to it. And but when I wrote that, I mean, it was pretty, I don't know if it was like calculated one, but I was just like, I want to do it like, you know what I mean? A nice boogie woogie kind of, a mover, something like that. And then lyrically, there's not much to that lyrically. You know, it's just basically the old tale of a boy and girl, man and woman who've spent a lot of time together, have spent way too much time together. So it's it's just one of those things, like, tired of your face, basically, and how you learn everything the hard way. Although that can translate, you know, universally, because actually that's the way I've learned everything, unfortunately, in my life is the hard way, most things. So I wanted it at least to translate that way to people, that everything I've learned the hard way, because we can all relate to that. But the verse parts are basically, like I say, boy and girl, man and woman, having a little too much of each other. But love the way that came out. And um, I love when we were recording it, I said, Danny, Pretending by Eric Clapton, right? I know you're familiar with that.
Love that record.
And
Yeah, they got to do a
I,
deluxe edition coming out soon. So
I love that record. What's the name of that record? That's Journeyman.
Journeyman.
Oh, love that record. Anyway,
Yeah.
but the beginning of first track, Pretending, right? It's got the
Yep.
piano thing. Ding, 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 ding,
Yep.
ding, ding, ding. I'm like, man, we got to do something like that. So I had Danny do that little piano thing there, and yeah, so I love the way that came out. Although it's funny because uh sometimes I listen to it and I go, wow, there's a lot of soloing in there with piano and guitar. And maybe we should have put a little more some more words in there, but screw it. It's great. It's good the way it is. So, but Aaron sounds great on that. And then after I wrote it, I was just, of course, by myself when I wrote the song. I said, this would be a great duet. Great duet. So I said, Aaron, come in and let's do this. And yeah, it turned out great. Turned out great.
And yeah, I think what I mixed up is that it's also the title cut. You know, I mean, so
Correct. Title track.
you your title track. Boy, I'm just like today. But can't always be perfect all the time.
Well, that's because
It's a struggle.
I didn't get to rub your ear. Yes, and it is a struggle. Yes, no
so
question.
so was the hard way? I mean, when everything finally came together, was it a working title at any point? I mean, at what point did you decide
Hmm.
that it was going to be the title track?
No, matter of fact, I mean, when we had all the songs together and I was putting them together, and I had no, I didn't have a title. I started searching for a title, and I started thinking about things. And obviously, as a songwriter, you go back to the songs, and you think, is there something in there? Is there something, So at the end of the day, after it all was said and done, I said, man, the hard way. It's just works again. It's just, I've done so many things the hard way. Most people, again, in their lives, it's, why take the easy way? Don't do that, right? So I settled on the hard way. There was some other tentative titles, and I'm like, nah, the hard way is, that's good, man. It's good.
It is, and
So
it's a play on the struggle. So you got the hard way, you got the struggle. So it's really
yeah, it's
it's
true.
doing a little double duty for you.
It's so true, so true. Yeah, and the struggle is, it's funny, years ago, Jamie was in the band, Jamie Hulka, who I referenced earlier. Jamie was in the band for a while. And I don't know, at one point, I mean, we're both Keith Richards fans, that. Huge Keith Richards fan, I am. Jamie too, but the song. It's on his first solo record, Struggle. I guess track 3, side 1. And Jamie said, "Man, that'd be sort of cool," and then that's just sort of stuck. So the Struggle, yeah, yeah, that stuck. But it
All right,
goes
well, let's
along with the
talk.
hard. It goes along with the hard way is from what you're saying.
Right.
The
Yeah,
hard
no,
way
absolutely.
versus the
Because
struggle.
that's, yeah, a
Sort of,
hard
sort of,
way struggle.
yeah, universal things. I just wanted people to sort of latch onto, right, bro? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
well, actually, it's funny. There's another song called The Hard Way, which I really love. And it's by, you probably wouldn't know it because I don't think you're a country fan, but Mary Chapin Carpenter has a song called The Hard Way, which is a fantastic song. So you'll have to give that a listen. And it's funny.
Well,
Sometimes,
Tom, I hate to say this, but I've owned that record by Mary Chapin Carpenter for years and years, bro. Because that record came out, if I'm correct, in like 90.
yeah, I'm thinking 92 ish.
Okay, I was going to say maybe
92
91,
ish.
but I
Yeah.
am way ahead of you on that. That is one of my. I got turned on to her. I don't know how or when, but I ended up buying a lot of her records, and that was the first one that I got. And that song, it did come into my mind. I'm like, but I mean, my God, if everybody didn't call
Right.
a song something or an album something because somebody else did, where would everybody be? It'd be nothing. But I love that. It's one of my favorite songs. I'm not just saying this to you. I could sing it to you right now.
That's
Uh,
crazy. I didn't, it's funny because that was always Mary Chapin Carpenter has always been one of my guilty pleasures, but she had about 3 records in the
mm,
90s that were just
yeah, it was
absolutely perfect.
that one, and then the one after that I think was called Stones in the Road,
Yep. Yep.
and it just killer records. Passionate Kisses is on that
Passionate
one, on the
Kisses.
Hard Way.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
that record, The Bug, is on that one.
Yep. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Quitting time.
Written.
Remember that was on the best
That's
of. She did the acoustic
that's
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Grow
But
Old
yeah,
with
man,
Me, the Lennon. Yeah, good
did
stuff.
you know that I knew about that
No, I
record
had
and the
no
song?
clue. I mean, I
Love it.
see The Hard Way, and immediately the first thing that comes into my head is that song because it
Yeah.
is it is ear candy.
Oh, dude, everything we
We
got,
got
we
we
got it
got
the
the
hard
hard way.
way.
Look at that. We
Oh
did our
man,
we did
dude,
our second
uh,
duet. We did a duet once at the Trough as well.
that's
So there
it.
we
That's
go.
right. That's right. You were great. All right, we're getting away. Is
Yeah,
this?
we're
Hey,
getting a little
we
away. We're at six. We still got about another 15 minutes. So let's try to get a couple more
okay?
songs in here. So let me pull over the handy dandy list that I have. We got to
Sure.
talk about Louder Than Concord because
Oh yeah,
we touched on power lines a little bit too. I want to go back to that, and then we'll shift over to Louder Than Concord.
sure.
I see what you're saying in terms of remaking power lines because I am familiar with both the original studio version and then have heard it performed live over the years. And I think to some degree, musicians can appreciate and understand, even music listeners can appreciate and understand that a song can change. There's certain nuances that could change over the years as you perform it live, even though the basic structure stays the same. But to
Yeah.
some degree, there are songs I feel that are better put on record after you've played it live for a while, and some that maybe that like the Beatles, like take 3 of Help or whatever may have been the one that was the magical one. But I mean, do you think with Power Lines when you were recording it, I mean, were you thinking about that at all? Like, this is a song that I'm so intimately familiar with that I gotta capture the live version of it.
Well, absolutely the live version of it, because the live version of it has balls.
Right.
And I don't mean it's like, like a Slipknot song in terms of what I'm saying there, but what I mean is that the version of on the second record, it just was, oh man, it just seemed lazy, and not lazy in performance, but just like the sounds. I didn't like the sounds of the drums and guitars and just everything. I always said if I get a chance, I want to redo it. So we did. We redid it, and we just, again, when in the music lab where 7 of the 9 songs were recorded, I'm like, I know it's going to sound great. So I was like, man, let's do it. Did it again and changed the chorus a little bit, just in terms of me singing it. I brought it up a little bit in terms of laying low, and just to me made it a lot better, and just to get it out of my system. So that's it. That's the final version of that. But yeah, that's how that came about. I just was never pleased with the way that it sounded on that second record. So
Yeah, it's a great song acoustically as well. I mean, it's
yeah,
just a solid song all the way
yeah.
around. I mean, if you got a greatest hits package, that one's going to be the one that's on
Oh,
there.
thank you. Thank you,
Um,
Tom.
and let's go louder than Concord, because I know we talked about that at the very very early stages when you were talking about the record coming out. And again, speaking about themes that we can all relate to. I just a funny experience happened to me. We were joking about Sticks Pieces of Eight, and I went to this record store and I found a picture disc of Pieces of Eight, and it was $20. I was like, oh, these picture discs are horrible. I already own 4 copies of that record, and I wasn't going to buy it. And then in it, there was a ticket stub from a Styx concert in 1979, and it was my first concert. And years ago, I'd lost the original ticket stub, but like here it was, a ticket stub from my very first concert of anybody, and it was like that experience was so meaningful to me, and concerts just I don't care whether you're a musician or not. They're just so to me they're just so important, which bugs me why they've gotten so expensive, because I feel like we're denying a whole generation of youth the
Hmm.
opportunity to really experience that communal feeling that you have, or just the
Yeah,
excitement of seeing a live band perform. Um,
yeah,
so with that being said, I think I pretty much set the stage for what Louder Than Concord is about.
yeah, yeah. I have a question about that ticket stub you found though, but
Yeah,
I'll wait till I'm done. Yeah, Louder Than Concord, as I've told you before, it's just a really special song to me. And probably, I don't know, it might be my favorite one on the record, just the way, I mean, it came out so beautifully. I know Johnny Helms, who recorded it and engineered it and mixed it, he says, I mean, again, out of everything he's ever done, he's like, I'm not going to say it's yeah, he might say it's like one of the best or his most favorite pieces that he's ever done. He goes, this just came out great. And it did. It came out wonderful in terms of the quality. But yeah, first concert. That's about my first concert. August 7th, 1976, Elton John, Rich Stadium, Buffalo, New York, Orchard Park, New York. And it was just mind blowing to me, right? Like, I mean, I've loved Elton so much at that point. I was only 8, but I was already into music since I was like, 5, like hardcore, getting records from my grandmother and cousins and listening to people turning me on and babysitters and things like that. But so my mom took me and my cousin Frank, who is gone, and love him dearly because he was a huge influence on me in music, listening to music, Elton. Um, and it was mind blowing. It was absolutely mind blowing. And so I just wanted to have a song that was lyrically that was a tribute to that experience, because it changed my life. It changed my whole perspective. I saw that, and I mean, I already would love music and wanted to do it. I know that's crazy at such a young age, 8, 7, whatever. But after that, I'm like, I mean, I never even thought twice about doing some other job. I mean, for me, it was never a thought. I never thought about doing anything else in my life other than music, trying to be a musician and do that. So it was amazing. And that show was I've told you before, Elton, Boss Gags, and a guy by the name of John Miles, who sort of fell off the radar, but um, it was mind blowing. And yeah, so that song is really special to me, and it came out so good. So happy with the way it came out on the record, and yeah.
have you made an attempt to get it off to Elton or his people?
I've thought about it and talked about it with somebody who's helping me with my social media and stuff like that. And I still want and have and need to do that,
Yeah.
because again, I mean, you're talking about such an icon. I have no idea how that would get to him, or somebody, but I mean, you would think that he would dig that. I mean, especially for the fact that not just what it's about seeing him, but that the song is called Louder Than Concord, which you know and I know is that in 1976, the tour that he was on was called Louder Than Concord, dot, 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 but not quite as pretty, referencing the supersonic jet. So that was the name of his tour. So that's why I called that song that. So you would think just for that, he would sort of be like, oh, that's sort of cool, right? I mean, I mean, I don't know, but I would, yeah. Hey, Tom, if there's a way, help me because I would love to get that. I would love to get it to him or somebody in his camp that could just sort of go, hey, this guy wrote this. It's pretty cool, man. It's called Louder Than Concord. Remember that, bro? I mean, who knows? I'm sure, even at this point he remembers, right? But yeah, so that's a really special song to me. And so glad that it came out as great as it did.
Yeah, those songs have a weird way of finding the artist, and you hope that they would appreciate it. But worst case scenario, just anybody else who experienced that particular show, whether it was their first or 70th or whatever, I think those things are very special. And it's interesting too because here the song comes out the final year of concerts at that stadium. There will never be another concert there. They've already had the final concert before they tear down that old stadium. So
I thought you were saying that they didn't have any after 76. No, I see what you're saying. Right.
yeah, no,
You're
this year will be
right,
this
right.
year they've already had the final concert, which was George Strait. There'll never be another
Yes.
live
Yeah.
concert. And I'll tell you, when I walked out of the venue that night, like a lot of times I will, especially if I've got a deadline or whatever, which isn't always the case anymore, but I don't always stay till the last note, because especially at that stadium, you're stuck if you leave
Yep.
when the crowd leaves. But I stayed
Yeah.
until the last note and kind of sucked it in. I still go there for football games, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
but stadium concerts are they're both horrible and fantastic at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
It's a
No
really a
doubt. And
challenging experience.
I cut a promo for the because Louder Than Concord was the second single off the record, and I had made a lyric video way before the record came out for that song because that song was done pretty early, and I cut a promo. I went down to Orchard Park and got in front of the stadium there and talked about it. And I just showing
Yep.
like that live in front of the stadium. I go, they're knocking this one down, and I showed the new one being built across the street. But yeah, man, very yeah, sort of emotional, right? I mean, again, that place. I mean, the Bills too. I went to Bills games when I was very young. My grandparents would take me. I saw OJ play there, and but yeah, yeah, first show, never forget it. Like in the lyric, rained all day long, right? It was just something I'll never ever forget, man. And what's cool, is that in that video, the lyric video for the song for Loud and Concord, we found some Super 8 film footage of the actual show on that actual day. So behind the lyrics in the lyric video for the song, there is footage of Elton that day at that show that this guy took with a Super 8 camera that runs all behind the lyrics of the video. Matter of fact, what's really cool is that the it was from close too. I mean, a guy had to be in the first maybe 10, 20 rows maybe, but at the end of the video, you can see Kiki D coming out. Now, Kiki D, you and I know, is the
Yep.
singer on Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
My heart.
But so she was touring with him because that was pretty much a new song at the time, and it was a huge song. So she was touring with him, coming out doing that song, and she did I think one or two more maybe. But so yeah, so you can see her at the end, yeah, in this footage behind the video that we have, and just really cool, really special to me, man. I love it. But for all Elton fans, pretty cool, man.
I'm going to make a suggestion to you, and if you do it, I think it's going to be amazing. You might even thank me. You should play that song live with Aaron.
With who?
Aaron Hoyle.
Play
Can you
play it
can
with
you
Aaron.
can you imagine a rock version of "Don't Go Breaking My Heart"? Like
Oh, I thought you meant louder
guitar
than
it up, and then have Aaron do the Kiki D part.
I thought you meant louder than Concord. Let me
Well,
tell
you
you
could do
something,
that
man.
too, but
I would love to do Don't Go Breaking My Heart. I mean, I know Danny would too, because
Yeah.
here's a footnote. That show on August 7th, 1976, Danny, crazy enough, who me and him knew nothing about each other at that point in our lives, he was at that show. He was at the same show, same day. And we both share merchandise available that day back in 1976. Tom, you remember like I do, visors were a big thing. People wore a lot of visors, as crazy as that sounds, right? So they had this white visor that had Elton on the brim, the words Elton, and a little picture of him um, with the Los Angeles Dodgers um, baseball uniform on, because he had did the show, I think in 75 at Dodger Stadium, where he came out in the baseball uniform. So Danny's at the show. So we years later, this had to be, I don't even know if it was like in when the struggle started or maybe when Clear was around. I don't know, but years later he comes to a rehearsal and he brings me his visor, and I go, dude, I've got the same visor. We have the same visor, bought same day, same show, 1976. But my point was is that Danny would love to do Don't Go Breaking My Heart as well. I would love to. I know Denny would too, because I know he's a sucker for those old great songs. But that's a great
Yeah, I mean,
idea.
if you
We'll have,
guys rocked it up, I mean, that would be great, and you could even do it with the original visors. That'd be to me that would be
oh
like a
well,
cool encore, you know.
well. I mean, those visors. Well, you know what? We'll ponder both things. Visor second, song first.
All right,
Mhm.
so we're coming near the end here, so I'm gonna give you the opportunity to pick the song that you want to talk about. That maybe is the one if you've already talked about it or whatever. What's the one that's closest to you? You know that's kind of your baby.
Well, I mean, again, just going through the 9 tracks on the record, More Time, just very special in terms of the message. The second track is Crying Shame. I mean, that song there, the lyric, I had an awful lyric with that, awful, absolutely awful, just referencing nonsense. And I made sure that at one point I said, I got to rewrite the lyric for this. So I rewrote it about, inspired by Phil Collins, Another Day in Paradise. I rewrote it about homelessness and the awfulness of this thing in our country, everywhere, but in our country, people that are homeless. And so that lyric there about homelessness always hits home with me. I know that'll hit home with a lot of people. Um, Great video for that too. That was made, that hits home. That was the third single. Louder Than Concord, we already talked about. 1983, fun song, just about drinking some beers with your buddies in high school and listening to Van Halen. When you really didn't have any responsibilities. Yesterday Is Gone. The fifth track, The Hard Way, we discussed. Something in the Water, that's just a simple blues with a nonsense message. Something in the water made me go blind. Um, oh, Power Lines, we talked about that, and Watching the Sky Turn Blue. I mean, we already discussed the uh, Louder Than Concord, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Tom, that's just going to be the dead ringer for what is really special to me, and so forth. Watching the Sky Turn Blue, just a message of hope. Feel like Robert Plant, this is a song of hope. um
That sounds more
but
like Bono.
yeah, right. Watching the
Yeah,
Sky Turn Blue, though, I just about how tomorrow the sun's going to rise, right? I mean,
yeah.
whatever's going on, man, I mean, tomorrow the sun's going to rise. You got to try to stay positive and stay, and it's hard. I know you know that too, bro. It's
Oh
hard,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
I work
hard,
with a
man.
lot of youth, and a lot of times I just have to paraphrase the old expression, "This too shall pass," which is what my
Yeah,
mother always used to say to me. And
that's right.
I had a very dear friend who once said that, I mean, made sense of it about how the dark times help you appreciate the light. And of course, the not that
Right.
I'm a huge Richard Nixon fan, but the one quote, you don't appreciate the highest mountain until you've been in the deepest valley. So
Right.
those bad times make the good times that much more special. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, the skies, at some point the sun's going to come out.
Yeah. No doubt. And so I'd have to say the songs that really, I mean, Louder Than Concord. And then I think Watching the Sky Turn Blue, just the family affair of that with my brother. It's the first song I ever co-wrote with my brother Josh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, I mean, he had a great band early on and got out of that, and now he works for the Henry Ford Museum. He was more of an artist and a musician, but more of an art. But he's got this. He almost like runs like the whole joint. Crazy enough. Don't quote me on that because he doesn't. But he's doing a great job. But being able to get that song together with his music that he sent me, like, and that message of hope. Yeah. So, but the whole record is special, man. I mean, I just so glad that we were able to do it and put it out and hook up with Steve Dillon from Signal Records. Again, thanks to Jamie, because Jamie's record is on that label too, Signal Records, and just being able to do it with Steve and first record ever put out on vinyl. So it's just really, really special, man. I'm lucky. I'm extremely lucky and fortunate, and I never forget that. And it's easy to forget that stuff, right, Tom? But I'm lucky, man. I'm blessed. So
Yeah. Well,
very
we're
much.
blessed too. We're blessed too to have this record, and but we're blessed to have a really good music scene in the Buffalo and Western New York area, and just people that can play together and support each other. And I know you're working with my friend Ann Layton on some of the publicity, who's really
Yeah.
excited that you're working with her, because she's always been a joy to work with as well. But well, with that all being said, hope you enjoyed this hour as much as I did. This was a lot of fun talking. I'm probably, when I edit it down, we'll put in some snippets of some songs. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy for you. This is something you could definitely be proud of. And I know I've worked on projects before that sometimes when you put them to bed, there's a little bit of like pride, but it's also, you sort of miss the process when it's all over. But
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt. No doubt.
so
And you know what? I'm blessed to know you the way I do and have the relationship I have with you, Tom, because, not just this record, but things I've done in the past. You have been a champion of mine, and it's priceless to me. And of course your beautiful wife, Tracy, there. So I mean it. You're always on my side, bro. And I know, you know what? You always do tell me too if there's something little bit, little funny in something, you'll let me know that. But I mean it, bro. Our relationship is priceless. So can't thank you enough.
all right. Well, very cool. Well, that's a wrap, my friend.